So a very important thing when you start your excavation, especially down here in the south. Up north, this is not a problem because things are deep because of frost line. Here in the south, things are very shallow. Can you see the water meter right here? You see how shallow? That's the main supply from the city. Can you see it over here? That is the house line. And it was actually the neighbor's house line that went up to that house. We were working on this house. And of course, we turned it off to make sure, and the neighbor came straight out and said, "Hey, our water's off." So we had to explore. Buried under the sod, we found the correct house over here. So we need to find these shutoffs here in the south, because if you trench, you can see our line. See how it's crossing that water line? Well, we need to be able to shut that water off if we hit the water line. Very important that you locate the water meter before you start digging. Even by hand, you should know how to shut that water off. So very important piece of the job. One of the most helpful tips that I can give you, especially if you live here in the south, and by the south I mean somewhere down in Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, when you're trenching in somebody's front yard, look for this water meter. If you don't know where that meter is and you cut that water line, you can't shut it off. When we first got here, we thought this was it, but that one goes to the neighbors. We turned it off to test it, and they came out and said, "Hey, wrong one." This one was buried under the sod. Took a while to find. If you look and see our trench, you can see we had to cross that water line. Normally, the water line is laid with the sewer line, and luckily there was a clean out. We probed all around here looking for that meter, but could not find it. It was buried under the sod. But normally it runs straight up to the house. The other possibility is from that meter, the water line could go to the very first spigot on the front of the house. I find that more than anything else, that the water line runs to the first spigot on the front of the house. You know, sometimes I'll spend 10, 15, 20 minutes trying to find that water meter where the shutoff is because it's been buried. And luckily we did find it. Here's the spigot at the front of the house. You can see it right here. This is the closest spigot to the water meter. So I find this, I'd say 9 times out of 10, this is where the water line runs to. But that other possibility is that that water line could come in the same trench as the sewer. So if you can find a clean out, great. That will give you some idea of at least where the sewer line is, but also maybe that water line is in that same place. There was a big storm last night. You can see all the debris that hit this area, but there's the clean out by the house. And like I said, sometimes the water line does come straight up and enter right here. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day.